Miami. I was on Miami, Ohio last week, and that didn't turn out well. Miami
Same.
looked really good. I got to give it to them. They looked really good. I couldn't tell if it was Miami was just that much better or Miami, Ohio just wasn't what I thought they would be. But based on like all the returning players from last season, Miami, Ohio had some decent talent. Maybe they didn't play as good as they could, but like the eye test showed me that Miami, Florida is legit this year. I don't know how legit, but I think they're a good team. So they're at home. This spread is 4.5, minus 4.5 for Texas A&M coming on the road, and a total of 50, 51.5, kind of depending on where you look at it. So what are your thoughts with this one?
So you hit the nail on the head as far as, was Miami, Florida actually good, or was Miami, Ohio just that bad? That game was painful to watch. I mean, it was painful. I was just hoping and praying they can, and for a little while it looked like Miami, Ohio might squeak out a cover, and then Miami kept scoring, and
they gave them a chance. Like they were like, hey, you guys are gonna like make this a game, and Miami, Ohio like kind of tried, but they couldn't get there. I was the same. I'm like, the doors open a little bit, but they could never get there.
Yeah. I mean, it was goodness. I mean,
yeah, it was not a good one for us.
I didn't expect them to play that poorly, but then again, it's the first game. You never know what to expect. So we can't beat ourselves up. But it's just Gabbert came out with such confidence that, and again, I mean, before he got hurt, he looked good. They had some decent players, but so this is an interesting game. I'm actually leaning the over in this game.
Same.
Yeah. So, and it's I'm glad that you agree, because I feel like it may not make sense to a lot of people. So, I just think both teams are going to be able to put up points, but there's a little bit of recency bias. And, last year was it 17-9 last year?
Weird game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I like the over. I know A&M destroyed New Mexico. Miami averaged 6.9 yards per carry against Miami, Ohio. So they were able to move the ball. Obviously, it was against a Miami, Ohio defense, but both teams in this matchup have weapons on offense, good O-lines, D-lines. Miami has potentially the best safeties that Texas A&M is going to see all year, in Cameron Kinchins and James Williams. Texas A&M has a really good defensive unit. I think both quarterbacks are fairly even matched, just based on what we've seen so far. I think they're going to find ways to make plays. This is a statement game that will likely be won in the trenches. It's really hard to gauge because, again, both of these teams have not been tested yet. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be fairly high scoring. Probably not. I mean, I don't think it's going to be in the 60s or anything like that, but definitely a better game than last season. Just is kind of the way I'm leaning.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. And real quick, shout out to B-Germ for the 18-month sub bane. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you back. I know it's football season, so I know you're ready to go. With this one, Iveta, I'm kind of feeling the same, because I don't think this is going to be a total that like flies over. Like, we're not going to get like a 70-point game or anything crazy, or even in the 60s. I feel like this one gets over by just a little bit, maybe like 3 to 6 points. And I know that sounds crazy, because people are then like, well, why would I play an over? But the way I look at it is just, I think of it like, if these teams are to play 100 times, like how many times does it go over? And I think there is a little bit of an edge at that number of 51. I'm surprised this hasn't gone up a little bit, but maybe at the same time, people are still kind of feeling it out a little bit, because they're still trying to, digest what they saw with Miami, Florida. Like, they look so good on offense. better than I expected against, a Miami, Ohio team that brought back a lot of guys from last season. So I can maybe see why it hasn't gone up more to like 52, 53. But I think at 51, I still think it's a good play to play the over. I think that's what I played it. I played it at 50.5, but if you can find a 50.5, I think that's a decent look. And Miami had a lot of explosive plays against Miami, Ohio, and also A&M was playing super fast paced too against a New Mexico defense that isn't the worst. I know people have seen New Mexico and they're like, well, they're a bottom feeder, but their defense is their strong suit. So they were still able to move the ball at will. I think both teams make enough plays. I guess the only concern is if like the offensive line of Miami just doesn't protect as well as I expect them to, and they could blow up some plays. But I think the over is a pretty good look here.
Yeah, and I think it opened. So I took it at 50.5 as well. I think, did it open at 48.5? I thought I heard 48.5.
Yeah, for some reason, Circa's down on the unabated dashboard right now because I was going to look there. But if we look at Pinnacle, yeah, you're right. So it has been going up. It has moved. 49.5 is where I showed the opener at, and then it's up to 51 at Pinnacle. So,
but still not. It's still a low total, in the
all things considered, pretty low. So let's go. Let's see here. So actually, let's do the Ole Miss Tulane game real quick, because I know that was one that we wanted to talk about. A pretty fun matchup, and then we'll get to Texas Bama, and then talk about some of our best bets. So Ole Miss Tulane. Let's see here.